Good morning and welcome to Love Every Moment, coming to you today from Glen, New Hampshire. Today's verse is Matthew 5:42. It says, "Give to him who asks of you, and do not turn away from him who wants to borrow from you." Now, when we first read this, it basically seems like give to the poor, because there's plenty of scriptures that say give to the poor. In fact, I was looking at some commentaries, and that's what they were saying, that this is just a give to the poor verse. I'm not convinced of that. I actually think this is different. So work with me on this. Let's look at the context and see if we can ask the question, who is asking of us? Who is wanting to borrow from us based on the context? Okay, so let's back up to verse 38. Says, "You've heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth." So the human normal reaction is to take vengeance. That's what Jesus starts with. Then Jesus says in 39, "But I say to you, do not resist an evil person." That's going to be the theme of this section. Do not resist an evil person. Okay? And then he starts giving examples. Example number 1. If someone slaps you on one cheek, turn the other also. So that's, again, an evil person, or at least someone out to do you wrong. If he does you wrong by slapping you on the cheek, turn the other also. Do something beyond that. Don't take vengeance. Second example, if anyone wants to sue you and take away your shirt, let him have your coat also. Again, this is someone who's out to do you wrong. He wants to take your shirt. So, give him more than that. It's doing good to someone who's done you wrong. The third example, whoever forces you to go a mile, go with him too. This is a soldier who wants you to do his work for him and carry his load. It's unfair, it's unjust, and it's doing you wrong. But Jesus is saying, it's okay, go even an extra mile and show him love instead. Now we have this week's verse, give to him that asks of you. Before we come back and answer that, the next verses talk about love your enemy. So the entire context is this is how we treat our enemies. This is how we treat those who are seeking us injustice. Therefore, from the context, my conclusion is that the person who asks of you is your enemy, or again, someone who is seeking you wrong. So, after all, it's one thing to give to the poor. In fact, it's a lot easier. The poor are usually a lot more appreciative, and we can see that they have a legitimate need, and we feel good about it. But it's another thing to give to our enemy. That's tougher. That's the higher calling. Let's look at a cross-reference we had looked at once before, but let's look at it again. Romans 12:20 says, "But if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him a drink. For in so doing, you will heap burning coals on his head." When we treat an enemy with love, it's going to have an effect, because the Lord will see that. The Holy Spirit will work on him, and it will have a burning effect. We may not see it. It may be when the enemy goes home at night and tries to sleep or something, but it will have an effect. Then it says, "Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." So as we go back to this week's verse, give to him who asks of you. It doesn't necessarily say money, although that's implied. It could be giving groceries. It could be giving a compliment, but it could be also money. My guess is that when we show our enemies love, they may come to us and ask us for something. Maybe it's because they're trying one more step. Is this guy for real? Is this love thing for real? And they may be testing us, or maybe they're coming to us with a real need. Either way, let's choose to overcome evil with good. Let's choose to treat our enemies with love. Because if we love every moment, we're going to love every moment. I'm your average wretch, and I hope you have a good week.